Hi, this is Jane Mitten. Jane Does Keto, and I'm here today to talk a little bit about some bad additives in food that you may not know about or you're missing. I've been on keto for a year and been following labels like crazy, and in fact go to the best quality stores, all of the organic stores, or also order online from the highest quality organic lines. And I've been very surprised what I just found out actually today. Something I've known for a while is you never want to buy anything or ingest or eat anything or drink anything that has OSE at the end of the word. And obviously you've probably heard, but if you don't understand the word, you haven't heard the word before, it's probably a bad thing. So some of the things I've found are things like, I don't know if I'm allowed to show them, but dips, brown gravy mix, some taco seasonings, beef stew mixes, of course, salad dressings, all of these things, and especially this was very surprising. Stevia in the raw has dextrose in it. So this is something that I want to go over. I made a board. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it all, so I'll take a screenshot of it. Follow my YouTube channel at Jane Mitten and hit the bell, and that way you'll get all the newest news about keto, nutrition, intermittent fasting, and wellness. And one thing I wanted to talk about just for a bit before I go to the bad additives is, having been on keto for a year, and lost over 60 pounds, it's morphed into so much more than keto. It morphed, from keto more into fasting and really into this idea of radiant health and wellness and healing the body from the inside out. And whether you have a pound to lose or 100 pounds, whether you're already fit, everyone can benefit by doing fasting and limiting your carbs, limiting your sugar, your alcohol, and absolutely limiting all packaged and processed foods. And this is one reason why, because I'm shopping at these highest end organic grocery stores. I'm reading things, apparently I wasn't reading them well enough. So we're gonna go to this board and I hope you can see it. But what I'm talking about here is, what are the bad additives in foods? The first thing I have here is corn. Now, corn in and of itself, a corn on the cob in the summer on a barbecue, that's really okay. It does have a lot of carbs, but that's okay. That's the way nature intended it. But what these companies are doing is they're taking the beautiful corn from the farm and then they're heating it up and they're changing the molecules and the structure of the actual food. So once they add chemicals and they cook it, it becomes something completely different that is extremely unhealthy. So dextrose is the first one we're going to talk about, but really anything with the ending of the word OSE is something to definitely stay away from. So with dextrose, it is a single sugar made from corn. It's identical to glucose or blood sugar. Wait till you hear what it does. If you take dextrose in, this could lead to high blood pressure, sugar, diabetes eventually, and fluid buildup in the body. So if you're told you're veering towards any of these things, really start, or even if you're not, a lot of us aren't, but we're still concerned about health, you want to be reading a label very distinctly and looking at it with a hard mirror, as opposed to just, oh look, it seems like the nutritional values are that it's low in carbs or low in sugar. That doesn't tell you the whole story. So some of these things have been a big surprise to me because I thought they were very healthy. I thought I was making the right choices. But dextrose can lead to high blood pressure. It can lead to a high blood sugar, which is glucose, eventually diabetes, and even fluid buildup, like in the legs and the extremities. So if you know someone that's having those things, first look at what they're eating. And generally speaking, you know, the keto diet that I'm on and have been on for a year, that's gotten me to lose, you know, over 60 pounds and go from a size 14, 16 to a 4. As I move down to a 0, which is definitely going to happen, I eliminated all processed foods and packaged foods, apart from, you know, what I thought was making a good choice, you know, instead of pure sugar. Again, I thought this was a good choice, you know, making my own dip or salad dressing. And there are many options that I'm going to show you that we're going to be able to do when we're doing OMAD, making all of our own dips, salad dressings, and they won't have any of these bad additives. But a lot of times, maybe you're traveling or you can't make them, or you're at a restaurant. Then you have to kind of sometimes go with the flow. But if you're certainly at home and you're buying these things at, you know, these best organic stores, you would certainly assume that they don't have the additives that you would expect to find, you know, at the average drugstore quality food. So dextrose and anything with OSE is definitely off the list. But the worst, the very worst is coming up, and that's maltodextrin. 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 If you see the word, run. It's worse than monosodium glutamate. And both of these things, the scary thing is monosodium glutamate, MSG, or maltodextrin, they also have many other names, so that you might look and see it and say, oh, it doesn't have MSG. No, it doesn't. But it has other things that are the same chemical makeup, like dextrose or maltodextrin. So this is the terrifying news about maltodextrin. It's the worst. It is one of the highest on the glycemic index. The glycemic index is how soon foods break down and turn to glucose and sugar. So at the bottom, so near a 0, would be something like celery, an avocado is very low, that kind of thing. At the absolute top is something like maltodextrin, and then near the top are just white rice, a plain white potato. You stay away from these, you want to be down here. So maltodextrin, it's a food additive made from corn, rice, or potato starch. It's in packaged foods, soft drinks, cereal, rice, meat substitutes. So even those meat substitutes that are so popular, they generally have things like this in them. And the meats they're talking about now, where they're making them off a printer, so they're not taking them from an animal, you know there's a ton of chemicals in them. I'm just saying, be forewarned and be observant and find out what's in everything. So maltodextrin, it's in, as I said, it's in everything that's packaged, from soft drinks, cereal, rice, meat substitutes, baked goods, salad dressings. Very surprised. I thought I was making, reasonably good choices when I don't make my own salad dressings, to have just a little bit of this with some veggies. They have maltodextrin or dextrose. So frozen meals, soups, those are very common to have these things in them. So again, always be reading labels. Sugar, we now know sugar additives, even the ones we think are best. Energy drinks, those have a lot of things. And then here's the thing that might make a difference to a lot of you. Dextrose, or maltodextrin especially, the worst one, is found in a lot of lotions and hair products and creams and dog food. So you might think you're feeding your dog this amazing food because it's organic and expensive. And guess what? You're actually doing great harm. This does great harm. It's not just okay. it's actually extremely toxic to the body. So generally, if you're buying these expensive lotions and hair products, it's amazing how many bad things are in them. And when you're looking at lotions and hair products, you want to stay away from dextrose, but you also want to stay away from anything that says sodium lauryl sulfates. Very bad. And many of the most expensive brands have that as one of the first 2 or 3 ingredients. It's very surprising. So back to maltodextrin. It has 13 carbs per tablespoon. So first of all, I didn't know it was as bad as it is. And then I was stunned today to find this out. 13 grams of carbs per tablespoon. So it's just in something like this. Then you make the ranch dip and you're probably having more than a tablespoon. So it's amazing how, and of course these are way better than the average, dip mix and gravies, taco seasonings, all those packaged things that you make things with. There's even this kind of thing that's like a beef stew additive. It looked good, beef stew with herbs and onion, but no, unfortunately not. So be really looking at labels. Remember, if you're on keto, we're on a ketotarian diet or lifestyle, which means we are very different than people on keto. Lots of people are on keto to lose weight, and they're buying tons of products that say keto on them. Just because someone stamps keto on something, just like gluten-free or even organic, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be healthy, and it's going to be what I like to call it clean. And ketotarian is clean. We're eating high quality fats, very clean, as the best organic quality proteins we can find, and then basically just leafy greens and as many colors of leafy greens and low carb veggies as we can get, and that's it. And there's no snacks. And generally speaking, on ketotarian, you're on 2 meals within a 5 to 6 hour window, or you're on OMAD, which means you're only eating 1 meal a day in about an hour or 2. So you really have the time, because you're not preparing and eating as many meals, to look into these very bad additives in foods and do yourself a favor. I've probably eaten a lot of these over the last year without even knowing it. And some of the time I was plateauing, and I even gained inches back when I added some sugar and I added some packaged foods at one point a few months ago. And now I think I know why. So do what Jane does. Do a very healthy keto, an intermittent fasting, or OMAD, and stay away from all these packaged and processed foods that amazingly have dextrose, anything with an OSE, or especially maltodextrim. Tomorrow I'll have a video up about the shopping list for our 30-day OMAD challenge. Follow my channel, subscribe to my channel on YouTube, Jane Mitten. I'm also on Instagram at Global Jane. Hope you're having a great day. See you soon.